Hobbs here.
Can we not be heard?
I don't. Are we?
We're good?
We're good?
I don't know if y'all can hear us, but hopefully y'all can hear us now.
Hey, we just gonna roll with it. We just gonna roll with
Hey,
it.
one take Drake. That's all we know.
That's all I know. One take.
One take.
Yeah,
But,
man, I'm good. How you doing, though?
I'm good, man. I'm all right. Actually, it's been a rough day.
I
but
felt that.
I'm here with you. We're doing a podcast. It's all good. One take.
One take. Wow.
Man, I'm here with you
Okay.
with the podcast and just talking with you already got me feeling a little bit better. So
I agree.
good to have you here. Good to have you back.
Appreciate that.
We gotta get back to the show, man. Back
Let's
to
do
the
it.
grind. Back
Let's
to the
do it.
grind we go. So, of course, how we start off every show.
Question of the day.
Question of the day. It's the segment of the podcast when I ask my buddy here, Rev, a question and I give him a grade. Okay?
True,
and
true.
I grade him on his answer. My grades are completely subjective to me, so please don't be upset,
Don't be upset.
about my grade to him, because it's my grade.
So y'all know he be tweaking. Y'all done seen him play me sometimes.
Back in them school days, you could be mad because the grades was not subjective to the teacher. It was objective to your paper. You know, a lot of y'all getting Fs on them papers is because you didn't put in the time. This grade is subjective to me.
Hey, who uncle is you, bro? He put in the time.
Put in the time.
What's the question, man? I'm ready. Let's get it.
Question of the day today is, I ain't really thought about it.
Okay, that's tough.
So I'm
That's
gonna come
tough.
up with the question
That's
right
tough.
now on the spot. And that question
You
is,
see me?
hey, Rev,
You see
back.
me?
We see you.
You
Appreciate
see
you coming through. Question of the day for you is, and we're gonna potentially talk about this later in the show. We are gonna talk about this later in
Okay.
the show. It's the only thing I can think about now. Victor Oladipo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does he make a good fit staying with? Would you rather see him stay with the Pacers? That's like his hometown. He went to school in Indiana. Or do you think it might be time for him to get traded? Or sign? I don't think he's a free
Nah,
agent.
he would be traded this offseason.
Yes. Exactly.
If he were to stay next season, he could go wherever he wanted
Yeah.
to go.
Yes.
I think it's time he bounced out with that fofo, which is kind of funny because his number's 4. But I think it's about that time. Vic had a breakout season with him. Everybody know how he built, but after he got injured, the Pacers were able to move on and still be successful without him.
Man, ain't been the same since. He ain't been the same since.
And then when he came back, he was still trying to rehab and get acclimated. He was going to sit out of the bubble, but they was like, go ahead and come. Then people was talking about how he looked in the bubble. Bro was finna stay home. Like, he was still trying to rehab. So I feel like the Pacers have found a way to win without necessarily needing him the same way they did when he first got there. T.J. Warren has been huge for them.
I think T.J. Warren just showcased what he can do in the bubble.
But if you see
The jury's still out on T.J. Warren.
But when you see how well we played without you, T.J. Warren has the potential to be huge for us. DeMontis Sabonis is our most consistent player. We got Malcolm Brogdon. We got pieces. I think they're probably going to move on from him and Miles Turner. Miles Turner is a different story. We'll get around to it.
Yep.
But I think Victor, if he can work something out to get him in a good place, go ahead and take that trade. Gamble on yourself, young man.
So
This
where do you
team
think he
seems to be
should go?
good without you.
Part 2 of the question.
I know how I feel about Miami. No.
Everybody going
Also, let me start by saying, originally, with the Giannis topic, I always said Toronto is my number 1. So then whenever I said, Joel, a team like, a culture like Miami would be good, everybody like, oh, he think everybody going to... No. The only person I said might go to Miami is Giannis, but I said Toronto first. Let's just be clear. Anyway.
That's why I was running where you switched your tone on him going to Miami. So I ain't heard Toronto in a while.
It's still number 1.
Okay.
And I hope so, because you're going to be talking crazy about him if you go to Miami. But anyway, I think Miami. I honestly think, I saw that the Bucks want him. If the Bucks are trying to go all in, break the salary cap this year, try to do everything they can to convince Giannis, I promise you, bro, we can do it. I swear. Just please, give me one more chance, baby. Give me one more chance. Vic ain't a bad option. He can handle the ball, and he gonna score. And he's not Chris Middleton, where he has to stand on the 3-point line to get you a bucket. He can actually do a little more for you, and he's a dynamic scorer. It gives you a third option on that team. Bucks would be good. I don't think he would stay there. I don't think Giannis still stays there regardless. But for the sake of the Bucks and their pitch, if you can make it happen, you want to get him.
Okay. I don't know if that's going to be interesting to see if they can actually if Victor Oladipo will be enough.
Because here's my thing, right? Like, there's other teams I think of, like Boston, because apparently Indiana wants Gordon Hayward, but I feel like that has to be.
They can get him in free agency.
They could wait for him.
Gordon Hayward's a free agent this season, this offseason.
He's got an option, I think.
Yeah, but he's a player. Or no, is it a club option?
I think it's a player option.
He might take that because if he don't take the player option, he's gonna get cut. All right, he's gonna get a pay cut for sure.
Right, exactly. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's a player option. But like, I feel like if you make that trade, there has to be a third team because I don't see Vic fitting in with Boston. I just feel like there's so many options.
Nah,
you know,
unless he's willing to come off the bench, maybe.
Right, and even like people were talking about Miami because he was looking so buddy with their players. I still don't see the fit there because you got too many like guard guys.
What about a team like Philly?
Philly could use him. Hell, honestly, everything in me wants to say Dallas. I feel like I can see him working in Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't know that Dallas will pull the trigger on it, but I think he could fit.
Yeah, they need that. Then we talked about it last week. They need a bully on the team.
Yeah.
Somebody to defend Luka.
Yeah.
Luka don't get me wrong. Luka can defend himself. Yeah.
But you need that enforcer.
You still need Jordan needed.
You need that Oakley.
Charles Oakley.
Look at you.
Knicks needed Oakley.
I deserve an A just for us being right there on that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh.
You gonna play a hate though, but it's cool.
I'm gonna give you an S. Super. You remember you ever played what was that? Dragon Ball Z Budokai? S was better than the A?
I'll take that.
For saying?
I'll take that.
You know what I'm saying? Get the super on there. I got you.
Look, man, I think Indiana is totally okay with moving on. They seem like they got their pieces. And I think Vic, everybody know what Vic brings to the table. So if he's available, you get done. It
really just depends on Vic can actually get back to where he was.
Absolutely.
Because if not, I think Vic is at best a six. Not at best. It's a starter.
I think you just got to give him time. You know?
His best Victor would be, if he can't get back to what he was, his all-star caliber, I think he would be a good piece coming off the bench on a championship caliber team.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on him because you can't do it's only so much you can do about an injury like that.
Yeah.
But you can have a great player coming off the bench. Lou Will. There's a bunch of J.R. Smith. Come off the bench, they do well, and I just think they can fill in that position really well. Sure. That could potentially... I just don't see him as a player that can to lead his team to the playoffs as him being the number one guy.
You don't think he built
if he can't get back... Yeah, if he can't get back to that. I'm not saying... Hopefully he can, but I'm saying if not, I would like to see him in a position like that.
If the Godfather, Pat Riley, can pull something off, I'd be interested to see how he do it. Because they got... That's one of the names that's been there along with Giannis.
Miami's gonna get somebody.
Somebody getting traded to Miami this year. I know Pat. I know Pat gonna pull something off
because he got the team.
Y'all played pretty damn good without any solid nobody on that team. You look at and go, oh, that's a superstar. You like, yeah, Jimmy Butler's damn good.
Yeah.
Bam is really good. But wow, they really they outperformed every expectation a lot of people had, except for J. Lock and Keith. Shout out to y'all. Y'all called it.
Oh, yeah, we did not shout y'all out, J. Lock and Keith. Y'all definitely called them going to the finals.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not even going to try to take that. Yeah, shout out to y'all. Y'all definitely called that. Y'all was off by a game. Keith was off by a game. But yeah.
Nightmares.
But you get the S. You get the S today. Super job.
Appreciate it.
Well, we're going to go get into the meat of the show. We got to start off as we typically do with the WNBA. There's some WNBA news that I would like to discuss. Starting off, I don't know if people seen this, but we got the video if you didn't. They partnered with Glossier. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and play on the ad. It's a dope ad. Go ahead and check it out.
We aren't necessarily the standard of beauty.
My whole life, I've been taller than everyone, bigger than everyone.
I just tell myself that I deserve this. You deserve this. You deserve this. You deserve this. Because I do.
So if I can embrace my body and tell you I'm beautiful, then that means I'm a body hero. You're a body hero.
Glossier, body hero.
Whoa. Hey, did you see her hoop?
First off, First
Yeah.
off, yeah. So a dope ad. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to see that. You
Whoops.
silly dude.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's pretty cool to see them partner up, and the whole thing is about body positivity with the WNBA. So there's obviously a stigma that we're actually going to touch on again in the next topic about just kind of the kind of a stereotypical what the WNBA player is, and that kind of makes it, I guess, look bad. Or not even just NBA, it's also just a female athlete got this stigma about, you know, kind of maybe a tomboy or something, but it kind of pushes
Especially
against
the
that.
Hoopers,
Yeah,
real tall.
Yeah, exactly. They're always bigger than everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what she was saying in the video. So I think it was kind of cool to see them. I think on that level, to see them, you know, partner with that and show them that these women are beautiful.
Yeah.
And they take care of themselves, no different than any other human being is going to take care of themselves. But also the other thing I like about this is the fact that this might just be the beginning of business partnerships with WNBA.
Yeah.
The more they put WNBA in our faces and our kids' faces, the more it's going to grow popularity, and which is going to lead to, you know, growth of the entire league.
No, for sure. It's great to see something different than just the jersey sponsors and everything. Like you see 1,000,000,001 NBA sponsorship commercials, whether it's Michelob, Jack Daniels, you know, Tissot with the watches and everything. Kia's done 1 billion, State Farm. So it's nice to see that maybe, like you said, hopefully they start getting some traction with some different endorsements and different partnerships, because the more you commercialize it, the more, first of all, the women going to start making more of their money, which they deserve to be making.
In advertising and in salary.
Exactly. And then that's going to have a trickle effect, because the more, like you said, the more it's thrown on the TV, you at some point you have to take note of it. Because you keep seeing these players, you're going to be like, hey, I need to, like, let me check into this. Let me see what's up with this. So I'm definitely hoping that snowball effect does start rolling.
That's gonna happen.
For sure.
You can see it starting already.
Yeah. I think this year they got way more coverage and attention, I think, than I've seen.
Yeah, we talked. That was one of our topics. 15% increase in viewership and coverage.
They're definitely getting there.
Yeah. So we see it beginning. We just gotta continue to push it forward, and it'll eventually, like I said, put it in the kids' faces, because kids they like to see what they see on TV. Yeah. And they're gonna gravitate to it regardless.
And especially all the young ladies out there growing up, wanting to be athletes and everything. Especially, like I said, female hoopers got it bad, man, because, well, first of all, on a sports level, people don't get them the respect they deserve, or they feel like, oh, I can beat you because but these women be hooping. But that's a different story. But as far as just like an image thing, you got the stereotypes of what you think female basketball players look like, and most of them are negative. Most of them, like, it's bullying, really. Let's be honest. So it's nice to, like you said, show these women are beautiful. They everyday normal women, just like any other woman out there. No matter if they 6'4" or 5'8", like,
gay or straight,
right? White, black, whatever. They had a nice variety mixed in that commercial. So I just think that was really, really good move.
Yep. Did you see? Speaking of being a bucket, did you see Liz, your girl Liz, giving Jordan Bell a bucket?
Hey, she was getting them.
You
know, I saw that video.
Problem.
No,
I'm glad you seen it.
Yeah.
No, hey.
Made me feel good. Baby girl was hooping. she was looking like Hakeem out there with the footwork.
For real.
She had Jordan Bell looking lost.
Yeah, lost in the sauce. But Jordan Bell looks lost in the sauce a lot of times. But going on to the next topic.
Well, Stephen, they say, I mean, we were all thinking it. She didn't have to say it.
Going on again, this is coupled with the next topic. I don't know if you've seen it, but Sue Bird, 4-time NBA champion, as of recently, going to 4 champion with the Storm. So I guess she's getting a little more media attention just because, he won a championship. Yeah. But she went on to say that the the girls in soccer, so like
the U.S. national team.
Yeah, the U.S. national women's team. They're only so much more popular because they're cute little white girls. They're mostly cute little white girls. So how you feel about that comment? Like it's pretty major. Also, mind you, her wife is Megan Rapinoe.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize. I forgot about that too. But yeah, she's actually married. So and it was actually, she was piggybacking off what Megan Rapinoe said. I think like a week ago. So
I think, first of all, I mean, it's kind of funny to see whenever white people say stuff like that. It's funny because I feel like when minorities say it, especially don't let it be somebody black to say it, people just brush it as
like what Skip Bayless Montrezl Harrell was calling Luka a bitch ass white boy. And he just kept saying on national TV.
Hey, when Ernie was like, bitch ass.
Oh no, it was
boy.
Ernie. It wasn't Skip. It was Ernie. Yeah.
Bitch ass white boy. But I think like whenever somebody white say it, I feel like it makes the whites think a little harder about it. Like, well, if you're saying it, maybe I'll listen to you.
That's fair.
But she not lying. Like, ain't nobody on the women's national team built like Liz Cambridge or Candace Parker or, first of all,
Right.
cute little white girls. There's a lot of white women's out on that team. The only thing that might be slightly different, because we talked about sexuality as well as race with the players. There's a lot of women's players that they are either gay or straight or however you want to label it.
I guess it might not be as profound in the U.S.
I wouldn't say it's
national team as it is in WNBA.
For sure.
Even Sue Bird was like, the 70% of the league is gay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a high number.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not. Anyway.
Include her.
Yeah. Right. But no, I just think it's definitely important to point out, because I do think that a lot of people, for whatever reason, I don't know why it is. Maybe she's on to something, because like people love the U.S. women's.
On to something. Yeah.
People love the U.S. women's national team,
and they might, they're gonna go say the scapegoat because they won the World Cup. But I mean, WNBA's been around. I'm sure we won plenty of Olympic gold medals.
Yeah. Sue Bird.
And I don't know if it's probably not
medals.
a World Cup in basketball, or women's basketball at least, but I'm sure
there
we
is
got
actually
gold medals.
Pretty sure there is, because I think that's where one of I think Sue and Brianna.
Yeah. Okay.
They both got.
Yeah. You're right.
World Cup and Olympic.
You're right.
Medals.
Yeah.
Hardware.
So that's not it either.
Yeah.
It's a popularity thing because they're easier to relate to, I guess, the women's soccer team. Whereas basketball, like you said, you got people like women like Liz Cambridge, who's a 6'8", that's gonna stick out like a sore thumb wherever she go. Anytime you're a woman taller than 6'3", and most of the league is, you gonna stick out like a sore thumb. You like that?
Nah, it's just I'm just agreeing with what you. I'm hearing what you're saying.
So
Liz, if you watch, go ahead. No, but for sure,
that's what it is. So she's definitely got a point.
No, yeah, and I honestly never really thought about it until she said that, and then you like.
And then in soccer, you can be a normal sized woman, and you can be the coldest thing out there walking.
Right. I feel like the Alonzo Mourning gift now. Where he's sitting there shaking his head, and he go. Yeah, she got a point. Like, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad that she was willing to call him out on that.
Mm-hmm. Especially like, again, she's white, she's gay.
Yeah.
To hear from that is pretty dope. And then she's Megan Rapinoe's wife, who is a women's soccer player, who agrees with her.
I think first of all, I don't know where the infatuation with the women's national team started. I remember when they were in the World Cup, but it wasn't because they won. Because even before that, people was going crazy for them. But I wish that all of our female athletes would get the same.
Including them, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you even see it like with tennis. If you want to look at Serena's, in comparison to a lot of those players, but like our WNBA players. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't get nearly the respect. But let a white girl out there.
For the longest time, she wasn't even the highest paid women's player, and she still might not be.
And it was the attraction.
Maria Sharapova, who was better fit for
marketing and everything. Yeah.
So I mean,
and it's a problem across several sports. So I think the more these ladies talk about it, call people out on it, hopefully we can start to get the ball rolling on changing that perspective.
Yeah, that's why we got to talk about it on our show.
For sure. I'll make you think about it, America. That video, you think about it. You know what I'm talking about? Dang, I gotta find the clip. Anyway, moving on, Josh. We talked about it a little bit with Vic, but I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
They are all in on They don't want to trade Giannis this offseason.
Looks like they're not going to be trading. That's what they're saying. Obviously, things can change pretty quickly.
Come All-Star break, which if they're not starting until December or January.
Also, we didn't touch on that. So, as far as them starting, it looks like they got to start time. Day. It's going to be MLK Day, which is typically, I guess, they do like the MLK ceremonies, I guess, where they honor MLK.
The week, really. The whole week, and then they got MLK Day game, so...
Yeah.
That's the third week of January, though, man. That is so. We should be starting the season right now. We should be in the first week of the official season.
Today, last season, was the beginning of the season.
Like, that's crazy.
Yep.
Basketball just ended 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We should be starting a whole new season.
Yep.
But anyway, so they're not trying to trade Giannis by January, apparently. But I'm curious to see what happens. Come All-Star break if they like, you know what, bro.
But I mean, I don't think if they don't trade them by now, if they don't trade them before the season starts, they definitely not, because they're still gonna be a playoff team. They're probably gonna be a number 1 seed again next year. If not number 1, number 2, they're gonna be a number 2 seed next season again. It's just about how far can they make it in the playoffs.
My only thing, though, I hear what you're saying. It makes sense. If I'm them, depending on what the league is looking like, we might not have it. Do I want to risk the chance of we still good, we a playoff team, top seeded, we might do okay?
But they need to do that before the season starts.
Or do I say, you know what? We in the middle of the year.
That's the thing.
I don't want to walk away from this year.
They're not going to do that in the middle of the season. They need to be making that decision now. You're not going to go halfway through the season and be like, we number 1 seed. Is this team good enough? You don't 100% think that this team is good enough.
You never know.
They should know. Let's be realistic.
Hey, if they do it, remember who said it first. No, but realistically, I think if you don't trade them before the season, you're probably not going to. Unless something just catastrophic happens. Like Middleton and several other important players get hurt or something like that. If it's like a real
dire in them.
Then they might just say, emergency meeting. Like, we got to get it over with.
Right.
But I think... I'm curious to see what type of moves they make, because you got to come up off that cash for the salary cap. You definitely got to dump some players off. Get rid of Bledsoe, please do.
They need to get rid of Bledsoe. I think the person that's potentially available, they need to get Chris Paul. Chris Paul has not been able to make it too far in the playoffs either. But I think coupled with somebody like Giannis, he's definitely never played with a player like Giannis.
For sure.
Well, he played with James Harden, but that's a kind of
a different type of dominance.
Different dominance.
Yeah. That's a little big setup.
Yeah, I think if he can couple with Giannis gets him his best point guard he's ever played with. Mm-hmm. Don't sleep on Chris Paul. Like before this season, I would have been like, yeah, Chris Paul is done, but no, he made the second all team.
I don't even know why people thought he was done. Second all NBA team.
I mean, he's older. He's old.
My thing is, his game isn't about age, athleticism, quickness.
This is about athleticism.
His game is.
It's about quick. No, it's definitely about quickness.
But he ain't lose that step though. He was still just as quick.
But no, he's adjusted. He slowed down a little bit, but he's adjusted still being
the way he still handle that ball and the way he see that floor.
Absolutely, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
His game has longevity. You can talk about him getting slower or older, but as long as he see that floor the way he does, he gonna be effective.
He showcased it last season. Like I said, making it All NBA second team. That's still best point guard Giannis has ever played with.
For sure.
So I think if they can get Chris Paul, George Hill, quit playing. Don't play with me.
The way you turned up.
George Hill was good for like one season with the Spurs.
Indiana.
Spurs, back in the Spurs days.
Dang, you gonna do him like that?
Not like that. That's when he came on the scene. Okay, who is this little hooper? George Hill.
Who's this little hooper? Hey man, look, I just think they gotta make something. Being in Milwaukee, you're not gonna get signed. Nobody's coming to you.
Yeah, so they got the. I mean,
so you gotta make the trades.
And a team like, if you can just trade draft picks, that's obviously based on what we seen last season. That's all OKC is collecting.
Yeah, so they're good with that. OKC is good with being the best team in 2029. Like they're okay with it.
I mean, they made the playoffs this year with the team that they got. So
but
they probably we'll see. I was gonna say they won't make it without CP3, but I mean, they still got a nice team, even though they
depends, 'cause
potentially gonna lose Gallinari.
Yeah, I was just
too.
gonna say Gallo. Exactly.
And if they lose both Gallinari and CP3,
I
that
wonder
would
is
be
Gallo
tough.
gonna go to Miami though? Hear me out, because that's where they was trying to trade him to midway through the season, and then they decided never mind.
Well, you know Gallinari's. You know where he's going. He already announced it. League minimum to the Warriors.
Moving on.
I'm serious.
Moving on.
I'm not even
Moving
trolling.
on.
He said, well,
Moving on.
he all he said was he take a
Moving on.
league minimum. Why else would you take league
He said,
minimum?
"I made my money."
Exactly. Why else would you take league minimum if you're not trying to win a championship?
He's obviously trying to win a championship, but that's not the only team you can win a championship on.
Did you
Moving
Trump
on.
face?
Moving on.
Oh no, it was one
It's
more
time
thing
for
I wanted to
break
say
it.
about the Bucks though.
It's time for the break.
There's one more thing I want to say about the Bucks though. They got a diamond in the rough potentially on that team.
Who?
Well, he was on that team last year, and I'm actually surprised that they didn't really use him. Frank Mason III. You know what that is?
Oh yeah.
Frank Mason III. He's on the team as a two-way player. He was the MVP of the G League last year. And I actually did some research on him. So he only averaged like 6 points on the team in the 19 or 9 games that he played. But if you break it down to his per 36-minute average, he averaged like 18 minutes. So the time that he was in, that's when he was scoring his points. Frank Mason, if he doesn't go back to the Bucks, because I think he's a free agent now, let's be on the lookout of where Frank Mason goes. Because, again, MVP of the G League, even though he's an undersized guard, he's a point guard, I think he has potential. Maybe what his issue is that he's only 5'11" and he doesn't really have the ball handling maybe, or the willingness to pass. He's kind of more of a shoot first, kind of like Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a passer, and you undersized 5'11" point guard. I think, but as far as the scoring ability, coming off the bench,
go get Isaiah. His hip healthy.
He going to the Warriors too.
Okay, dude. Listen. Also,
but the thing is, I'm not trolling. These are all rumors that I'm just pushing.
Warriors fans are slowly becoming these people.
No, we're not.
Y'all are like,
I'm not
y'all
making this up though.
You're not as bad as the Lakers.
Am I making this up? Did you see the same report that I seen?
Isaiah, yes.
Okay.
Gallo, no. But
okay, I get
y'all
it.
not.
Because all he said was he was taking lead man.
It's like put the Knicks and the Lakers in a blender, right? Because you're not as delusional as the Lakers fans, but you're successful, unlike Knicks fans. But what do all of y'all have in common? Everybody's coming here. Of course they are.
I mean,
Let's not. Let's just not.
I was right about KD. How long before?
Anyway,
How early did I
moving
say KD
forward.
was going to the
I
Warriors?
don't remember
In, like,
because I blocked it
January?
out. You know, I like to suppress my feelings. I just put a cap on it and
January
pretend it
of
never
that
happened.
season, I was like, KD
don't
going to the
recall.
Warriors.
I
What
don't
you
recall.
talking
Moving on with the coaches carousel.
Coach Carousel. So we got Stan Van Gundy signed with the Pelicans.
You know what I think of every time I think Stan Van Gundy?
What?
You know that video of him dribbling the
Dribbling?
ball?
Hey, boy got handles.
It's so funny though because he's such a big dude. Like he looked like somebody daddy, but he was out there really moving. Stan Van Gundy though.
What you think about that? How you feel about that? That's the same way I feel. I think it's just like, again, I'm tired of seeing the same coaches. They got a lot of assistant coaches that they can hire.
Worth?
But I just don't see. I guess the only thing I could say, Stan Van Gundy coached Dwight Howard to the finals.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, Stan Van Gundy's a good coach. He's a good guy. Did you follow him on Twitter? He's got a great Twitter account, very political, and I love it. And he's leftist. He leans left, and he be going at them Republicans, and I love it. He's a great. You should follow him on Twitter, even though I know you're not, but he's still a good follow. But even though it's fun, he gonna die down now, probably that he's on the. Shut up.
I unblocked him, everybody. Just so you know.
You did?
I unblocked you. Check your Twitter. I tweeted you.
You did?
I'm pretty sure I did.
You did.
Maybe I forgot to hit
I ain't gonna tweet you back.
Well.
You blocked. Right back.
Anyway.
But yeah, I don't think Stan Van Gundy's a bad coach. It's just, again, I'm just tired of seeing the same things. Like, yes, he coached Dwight Howard in
But I think that's
Magic.
probably the motivator.
That's probably what it is, because they got Zion.
You helped mold Dwight, and you took him places at a very young age, and he was looking like one of the best players in the league. You have a similar
potential.
Yeah, you have a young guy with just as much potential.
Even though I think Zion's biggest issue is gonna be whether he
Weight.
can stay in shape and healthy.
Yeah.
Because anytime you jump like that, it's tough. It's
Derrick
hard
Rose.
to admit. It's hard to
Anytime
say
he jumps
it, but
like
it
that,
is
I get
tough.
Derrick Rose flashbacks.
It's tough.
Because it's amazing to watch, but you can't help but think in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Derrick Rose and Westbrook had the same explosiveness. Westbrook never had any injuries due to jumping. Patrick Beverly is what killed his knees. Derrick Rose, it was the jumping. So you never know.
It's still destined to happen though.
This
Maybe
is why Pat Bev deserves less. That man has had a knee surgery every year since then, by the way. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. I think he got hired simply off the fact that we see what you did with young Dwight. We got Zion.
Yeah.
You might be able to replicate that formula here. And we do have a good team.
And also, yeah, this is probably the best team that he's had
Detroit wasn't a good.
since
Detroit
maybe
was
those
trash. I
Atlanta
don't know why they
teams.
even.
Yeah, then they're still trash.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever
We got Dwayne Casey.
anytime you got Blake Griffin as your best player, you gonna. Be
I don't know
trash.
why y'all hate Blake so bad.
Don't say y'all. It's mostly just me.
Yeah, well, is it AP that doesn't like him?
No, AP,
Mostly you.
AP likes him.
Mostly you.
It's mostly me.
First of all, Blake, where you messed up, and there's some bias in there. Whenever he went and re-signed with the Clippers, he should have just went to Oklahoma.
Yeah, he should.
He would have worked. Instead of us trying to pull Melo in there and make that work, he should have just came.
And that's his
He would-
hometown. He should have went there.
He should have pulled up to the city, boy.
I guess some people don't want to go back to their home. For the most part.
Hey, what up, J Lock? We just shouted
Hey,
you out. You
J-Lock,
probably missed it.
yeah.
Also, I'm sure you enjoyed the shirt.
We shouted you
Repping
out.
your gang.
We let the people know that you called it first on the
Lakers and
Heat
Heat.
going to the finals. And
You
you
said
said in 5. You know you're wrong in that, but you picked it and we did it. So
Because we were both wrong.
major shout out to you. But yeah, as far as Stan Van Gundy, again, you're not a bad coach,
Yeah.
but I just like to see new faces, and that's in any sport. Like I haven't made this mention, but in football, in the No Fun League.
We
Had
can talk about that in a minute.
Sean McVay, and he kind of really started this whole. Sean McVay was able to lead the Rams to the Super Bowl when he was on like 36. Like he had players on the team.
Like so young.
He had players on the
Yes,
team older than him. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Fuyang. And ever since they hired him, a lot of other NFL teams have been able to
Get some young
are
guys. in there.
hiring these young guys because they want to. And obviously, it's kind of stupid because it doesn't work. Because it's like I just want to hire young guys.
It's the Brad
because it
Stevens
works.
school of thought.
Exactly.
Get a young
But
coach,
even
you
with
see how he
somebody
does.
like Brad Stevens, like there's some college coaches that probably could use a call up. I could
Yeah.
would like to see, not even just the Coach K's, because let him stay down to college, or Roy Williams, let them stay down to college. Rick Pitino, he tried in the NBA, it didn't work.
Coach K did too.
Who? Coach
Not
K?
Coach K. I mean,
Not Coach K.
Calipari.
Calipari, yeah. Wait, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do your Googles. Do your Googles.
Okay, man, I need to move
I'm
on.
willing to die on that hill.
I
I'm
thought-
almost positive I'm right.
Because Rick Pitino,
Wanna
I think you
say-
think about, well, maybe it wasn't Roy Williams. Because Roy Williams, I don't think came up either. But yeah, I just want to see new faces. New faces. I'm tired of the same. Stan Van Gundy been coaching for forever. It seems like you're going to look it up.
Yeah, because I know I'm right. I know I'm right.
All right. Oh, yeah, you're right.
New Jersey
Oh, his
Nets.
assistant. Okay.
Philadelphia 76ers. I wanted to say New York Knicks, but I knew it was one of them.
New
Anyway,
Jersey Nets. Yeah, you're right. I want to see new faces, and that's all it is. I love Van Gundy. I love both the Van Gundys. I always have. So.
moving on to new faces. Which, yeah, get Jeff. I don't know. I'm okay with Jeff staying where he at because I like listening to him.
But I like Stan Van Gundy. He was doing a good job. announcing
You know, they
too.
called a couple games together, and that was fun to listen to.
Yeah.
But on the Clippers side, you got Ty Lue has now gotten that job. So it's nice to see a black man get that job. Especially Ty Lue, I want to see him get a fair shake. I don't think he was as respected. We've talked about this already.
Yeah.
But also on his staff, he got Chauncey Billups.
Yes. Yeah. And
So that's-
Chauncey Billups has been in the rumor mill as either a GM or a it's a GM or a coach and a couple of different. It's good, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, check it out.
Could be good, boy. Ain't time bad. Yeah, it's good to see him get.
He's been in the rumor mill, and then finally, even though I liked him as an announcer too, but he wasn't on ESPN.
Him with Michelle and Jalen, that was fun to watch.
That was good.
Whatever happened to Michelle Beadle?
She's on and off, I think, with ESPN. Like, Because remember she was on Sports Nation?
Mm-hmm.
She left after Sports Nation, but then they brought her back. I don't know. I think she kind of clashes, I think, because she's kind of got that personality. But she'll clash with the higher-ups. And I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I'm not speaking off knowledge. But I think she has issues with, like, ESPN.
Really?
And she be saying...
She kind of dipped off.
She kind of saying some off-the-wall stuff.
Every time I think of her, I think of when she went in on Kawhi. And she just, like, was talking bad about him.
Anyway, because she was a
Spurs fan. Yeah. But Chauncey Billups, it's good to see him finally get into that environment because, like you said, front office and coaching rumors have been surrounding him the last 2 years.
I wonder why he could never get that Jason Kidd out of nowhere. Just get the.
Guarantee you next year he'll get one. If the Clippers look decent enough, and a vacancy opens, Chauncey Billups is one of those names that I think a lot of people wanted, but I think. It seemed like a lot of the organizations that were reaching out to him were thinking front office, but seeing that he's joining a coaching staff, I think a lot of people will be like, oh, he cool with coaching? Well, we got a vacancy. Let's pull him in here.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We shall see.
I look forward to it. Like I said, I want to see Ty Lue get a fair shake. Hopefully Pandemic P bounces back because as much as it is fun to slander him, he's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. So I hate to see him go outside like that because that was.
You gotta do better than that.
That Paul George pack was heavy this year, boy. It was some loud.
Yeah. And then yeah. Well, so what do you think as far as Ty Lue? Do you think can they at least challenge the Lakers?
I think. Well, the only problem is Lakers ain't the only team you got to worry about out there no more. It's another team in that same state. I'll give you your credit that time, but I think they can. They can challenge. They got the pieces. They
honestly have I can't really say they have a better team, but I just think on paper they have a better team.
You just need people to step up. You need your dogs to continue to play like dogs and not get to the playoffs and be like, I don't know. You know, they shied away from the moment. And then they talking about Ty Lue. He gonna make Kawhi play back-to-back 40-minute game nights.
Yeah, if you have that's the thing. If you got issues in the locker room just because one player is not playing back-to-back.
Which he also has a chronic injury, I believe.
Yeah.
So you can't really be mad at load managing.
That whole, obviously, the load management BS was some BS.
I don't think 100%.
So. Maybe not for Kawhi, but it wasn't just Kawhi
played good up until like Game 7. I was surprised he sold like that.
It wasn't just Kawhi getting load management. No, Paul George is getting load management.
Well, like the Kawhi experiment in load management helped Toronto get over the hill that they've been fighting for the last 5 years. Paul George has consistently come up short in the playoffs for the last 3 or 4 years. So it was a crazy mix to be.
But when that's causing turmoil in the locker room, though,
I think Lou Will said that's cap though.
Oh yeah, Lou Will did say that.
But you never know. I mean, of course they're gonna say that. Ain't nobody gonna say, "Yeah, I said it."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired of him sitting out.
Yeah, that's true.
So who knows?
You never know. You never know. In Indiana, I don't know the dude's name, and I probably should have looked. It's
I just forgot the name.
He is a new face, actually.
Before we talk about him, though, let me just say this.
Yeah.
You know, Mike D'Antoni's name has been tied to Indiana. The only other team that mentioned, I guess, that we saw his name mentioned with was the 76ers. But Mike D'Antoni's name had been mentioned with the Pacers for weeks now. So with them hiring somebody else,
thank goodness they ain't
is Mike D'Antoni finally going to go sit on the couch for a minute?
For a year or two.
Yeah. You think so?
For a year or two, yeah. Somebody's going to hire him within the next couple of years. Like you said, same thing with Chauncey Billups. Hopefully Chauncey Billups can get a job first.
Yeah.
See something new. But if he's willing to coach again still, in a couple years, it's going to be he's going to get another job.
Yeah.
But
we should have did our Googles on how to say that one.
The Pacers hired
Nate B.
Yeah.
My boy Nate B.
What is it? Let's say. I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm not going to try. Bajorgan.
One of those letters has to be silent.
Yeah, probably so. But yeah, Nate, he was an assistant coach for the Nick Nurse and the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that's had a lot to do with why he's getting the job. But I don't really care who it is. I just like the fact that it's a new face. And it's an assistant coach who's done his due diligence as an assistant coach. It's always good to see these assistant coaches get called up because it it gives them kind of like their roses on that. Like
Yeah.
you was an assistant coach, but I know you was putting in work,
Mm-hmm.
especially for you to help get your team to the championship. Because you helped just as much as Nick Nurse is a good coach. You had a lot.
A lot
to
of
do
times, the
with
assistant coaches are the unsung heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you see them actually get a head coaching job, it feels good for those guys to see because no assistant coach wants to be assistant coach. I mean, I'm sure they're happy and content with that position, but who wouldn't want to be the head coach? You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see that move for him, especially because I'm gonna just let that slide. Especially because he I lost my train of thought. I got distracted by your loud phone.
Sorry. If you guys hear something in the background, it's just my phone vibrating super loud. I think I'm going to be getting a new phone here soon.
I don't know where I was going, but trade market. Let's just trade in this topic.
Yeah.
Trade market.
I had a couple players that I want to talk about. We talked about Victor Oladipo already. As far as... Blake Griffin is potentially...
I hope he gets traded.
Pistons, we just kind of spoke this up.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin is potentially going to be in the trade. The Pistons are thinking about trading him.
Take your time.
I know. It's hard.
okay.
It's hard sometimes.
Okay.
It's hard out here for people. Pistons are thinking about trading Blake Griffin.
There we go.
Where do you think he can go and be a scrub at?
You're not just gonna slide that in there like that.
Bro, he's not good. I'm sorry.
He is good.
He's good, but he's just... My thing about Blake Griffin is he's great. He's like what Budenholzer is as a coach, but as a player.
Huh?
Yes. He's not good in the playoffs because, yes, he develops his post-up game, but once you get into the playoffs and it becomes a half-court game, I think he gets a lot of his rhythm from being able to get his buckets off the fast break, and then he's able to transition to the post-up, and then he's kind of able to transition as a three-point shooter. Mm-hmm. But when he was with the Clippers, if you took away the fast break game and all he had to get his buckets from the 3-point line or the post-up, it was easy to lock him up because then he would just kind of... Once he started missing, he would just slowly go back to the 3-point line. He couldn't shoot.
Because when he originally was with the Clippers... To start off, they relied on him for athleticism and lobs. So that's what we've been having you do. Now you're slowly developing as a player, and now you're being forced to do the other things that you're still working on getting better at. At this point, he's a much more polished scorer than just having to have the fast break or the lob. So,
I seen
Blake Griffin.
I seen the Warriors before KD. Before KD, we would lock Blake Griffin up.
Well, first of all, the Clippers suck.
Draymond Green would lock. They would go back and forth.
That's the playoff rivalry we really got robbed of. I want to say that.
No, we had it. We had one series where we lost, but it was once we kind of took that next step.
That's the one we got robbed of. That would have been a fun one to see over the years.
Oh, I was so ready to see. I was like, every time y'all just lose before y'all
especially play that one game, Draymond was all in his face, tongue out and everything. I was like, oh, this is every time these teams play, it's gonna be fun.
Blake Griffin,
and it just slowly went away. Listen,
I mean, it's not fluke. It's not just Chris Paul the reason why they was not able to win in the playoffs.
Lakers versus Nets in finals next season. I don't have faith in the Nets. We can talk about that next week.
That's not really a bold prediction, though. I think a lot of people
on paper are gonna run with that.
The Lakers.
It's funny to me, Blake is barely below Ben Simmons. Interesting. I'm not ready to talk about Drew because here's what I want to say. Blake Griffin, at this point, it's hard to really say where he fits. But I feel like wherever he goes, he can be an impactful player. A lot of people I've seen talk about him to the Rockets would be nice just for the sake of him bringing some size to that team.
Rockets.
But the Rockets are just a disaster. I've packed my bags. I've moved to Dallas a little further down the street, and I'm good. They're young.
Moved to Dallas now?
They're still building. I've been on Lucas since before he got drafted, though. So I've been watching. I was like AD peeping around that wall, like, and they've been looking good. It was. I wanted it to be the Kings, but they're just miserable.
I was gonna say this though. It just popped in my head though. What about Blake Griffin to the Mavs?
To the Mavs?
Does that fit?
I think that would give you your vet that's not gonna let people just run up on Luka though.
Well, I almost said something.
I'm just playing. I just wanted to get a reaction out of you. I don't know.
Blake Griffin stood up for himself, so I wanted to say something, but no, he would stand up for himself.
I think Dallas need Kendrick Perkins.
Oh my God!
If you really want that enforcer out there, you need Kendrick Perkins.
He gonna be enforcing from the bench.
Yeah, with his suit on.
With his
That's what he spent half his time in Cleveland doing, is wearing the suit.
Right.
And it was the first one taking a picture with the Eastern Conference Finals trophy. But that's another story.
And also the first one to talk trash from the bench.
Talking about Bam from out of the bayou. He can't talk at all, bro. Having him on ESPN is hilarious to me. But anyway.
No. But I think the Mavs maybe.
The Mavs would be interesting.
Who else?
Get him on the Spurs.
Don't get me wrong.
Get him on the Spurs.
I slander him a lot, but I understand that he can be valuable to a team, just not as the top player on the team.
Yeah. I've always felt like Blake is a compliment player. He would never be the guy.
Maybe, what about like a Phoenix? I'm just thinking of some teams.
My boy Justin in the building. We need to get Justin back on the show. It's been a minute.
Hey, Justin, what's up, my boy?
J Nail in the house. Let me think on that. I'm gonna do my homework. I'm gonna do my Googles. I'm gonna look at the fits. I'm gonna look at the rosters.
We talk about Blake Griffin. He's in a rumor mill as far as being traded.
Yeah,
Justin,
where do you think he can make an impact? Years ago, Boston really wanted him, but I don't see. I think Boston is good with what they got.
Yeah,
I don't think Boston really needs another player. Here's what Boston needs. They need to trade for Miles Turner. If you're gonna do any type of trade with Indiana, you need Miles Turner.
Who we said last week? Celtics getting I think they might have said Dwight Howard. They need a big.
Blake Griffin is washed. Oh my God.
See,
he on the same thing too.
He knows.
He on the same.
No,
he's not washed.
He's not washed now. He's been washed.
Okay.
He been washed.
I'm gonna keep hope alive.
He said he's gonna chase in Brooklyn. I don't know about that.
Honestly, having Blake
that would be
on that Nets roster,
I think they got so many. They got a lot of players already though.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin going to the Nets, they would have to get rid of somebody potentially.
I think they're okay with that.
Yeah.
Depending on who you lose. Moving on from Blake, because I honestly really have to think about that. All the time when I think of Blake, I try to figure out where he fits, and I'm just not sure. I know he can impact.
I didn't name about 2-3 teams.
Jrue Holiday,
Phoenix and Dallas. I think those are potential.
See Phoenix.
Why don't you see Phoenix?
Who the hell want to go to Phoenix? You really gonna trade me there?
Charles Barkley made his career in Phoenix.
Yeah, but at this point, nobody else wants to do that.
Cold nachos.
Listen, Jrue Holiday.
Those nachos warm now.
Shut up.
But yeah, so the last player we're gonna talk about is Jrue Holiday, and he's potentially, I guess he's not really in the trade rumor as much. But my thing is, and the only reason I brought him up, or I had him in the notes, is Jrue Holiday would be a really good point guard to go to a lot of the championship contending teams. I think one of the
great defender and a bucket. One
of the names I seen was the Nuggets. Partner with Kyrie Irving. That would potentially be like if they were to get a Jrue Holiday, who was like, according to the entire league, the most underrated player in the league.
You're just gonna back that up.
/ever.
Did you mean to say Nuggets or you meant Nets?
That's it. Oh yeah, Brooklyn.
You said Nuggets and then you said Kyrie.
My bad. Brooklyn Nets.
Because Nuggets want him as well. Yeah.
Oh okay.
I've seen that.
I meant the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets. Him coupled with Kyrie.
First, he'd help cover up Kyrie's deficiencies as a defender.
Yeah, and and again, this kind of goes back to him being like the most underrated player all time, basically, because everybody believes he's the most underrated player in the NBA. And he could potentially be a good piece, and that would be cool to see him on a championship team because he would finally get some of his credit that he got. Apparently, the entire league believes he deserves, but
you've
just
seen
doesn't
it
get.
Like on JJ Redick's podcast, how many different players have been like Drew League or on All the Smoke with Matt Barnes.
Yeah, All the Smoke. Everybody, because they always ask the question, who's the most underrated player? And they've asked
Drew.
Steph Curry. They've asked, there's a couple other players. I don't forget. I think they asked JJ. I think they might have had JJ Redick on there once before, but everybody seems to say Jrue Holiday.
Yeah. I think at this point, this just looks bad. But during the season, before it really started going anywhere, and definitely way before COVID, his name was linked to somebody that Miami was going to try to trade for. But I think that was before Nunn started playing the way he was and before Dragic, they finally decided to let him do what he does. But it wouldn't surprise me if Miami still tries to get him. So like I said, he's a great defender, so he fits that culture. He works hard, and he's a hooper.
I like the Nuggets too, though. Well,
I think
I don't know about
The Dallas Mavericks.
You think he can go to Dallas? Maybe.
The Dallas Mavericks got young players to get rid of. New Orleans is building. If New Orleans wants to finally, Drew, you old as hell on the low end. We're going to let you go play with a contender. You can get a decent return out of Dallas. Whether it be picks or young guys that are developing. You can get a decent return.
But does he fit, though, with Luka?
Yeah. First of all, Luka's not the best defender either. You help cover up his deficiencies. Luka isn't necessarily a point guard. He does well in that position, but Luka can definitely play off ball. Luka can definitely play off the ball. And Drew can play off the ball as well.
I don't know if I can see.
I think they're both versatile enough that you can put either one of them at that 1 and 2.
I don't see Luka being able to play off ball like that. Luka
wasn't the primary ball handler until this year, though.
Yeah,
he did well, but he did well his rookie year without being the primary guy.
No, he clashed with Dennis Smith Jr. because he didn't have the ball.
Dennis Smith Jr. was bad. That was the problem. Dennis Smith Jr. just
No, it was also because he was taking up possessions.
Dennis Smith Jr. just sucks, and I'm standing on that.
I would have to see you believe it.
I think they can play well together.
And I don't know if Dennis Smith Jr. sucks.
He does suck. What has he done? Okay,
moving
moving
New York,
on.
Though. Like, a lot of people look like they.
He sucked in Dallas. He sucked in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know where else you want him to go with this.
Darius said Memphis. I don't know about Memphis. I kind of agree with Justin on that. I think Memphis is trying to stay young. And then for Drew, again, I think he wants. If he wants to go anywhere, he wants to be for a championship team.
He's ready to play.
But
that's why I said a team like, to me, Denver or Miami makes sense, because these are teams that are actually going somewhere. They might have some youth, but they're actually contending.
I don't know if he goes well with Luka, and I don't see Luka being off the ball that much. I think I made this comparison before. I see, because somebody said, or it was Valden who was on the show last week. He said the Dallas Mavericks are a young Lakers team, which I didn't agree with. I didn't say it on the show, but I didn't agree with it. I see them as a younger Rockets team. When you watch them in the playoffs, it was a lot of dribble, like Chuck would say.
But part of that too
because of Luka. Luka is a younger, in my opinion, if you watch him play, he's a younger James Harden.
No, we talked about that several times. He's the white James Harden.
Yes.
The young white James Harden.
Yes. And he dominates the ball like James Harden. Not to saying that they can't switch it up, because Rick Carlisle's not the same coach as D'Antoni. But I see the Mavs being a little bit closer to what or at least I see Luka being closer to
You
James
see
Harden
James' game so much in him, but that's why you want to
LeBron.
say that. But I feel like I totally see where he was going with that. And in the playoffs,
no, I'm saying I get. Maybe it was just the fact that I see.
Yeah. You see so much of James' game in him.
Luka. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Also, you got to consider in the playoffs, Porzingis wasn't playing anymore, so Luka had to do a lot of dribble, because I got to score 30, 40 because my other 20 and 10 guy is no longer out here.
Yeah,
Seth, you can get hot. Tim, you can get hot, but y'all not gonna get hot enough. So I gotta
hurt a lot.
Darius said Minnesota. No, Justin said Minnesota. Again, we're talking about winning. I'm not touching Minnesota with a 10-foot pole. If I can help it as a player, you get me the hell away from it.
For real. Yeah, I think, again, he probably get hurt. After seeing what happened with Jimmy Butler and going to the Heat, I think a lot of people are iffy on Cat.
I'm telling you, man, look.
And potentially D'Lo. Even though D'Lo was able to lead the Nets to the playoffs. Cat ain't touched the playoffs. Ain't been close.
Depending on what happens with Freddie VanVleet, Toronto, keep a lookout for Drew.
Toronto. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Miami Heat gonna get him though. Watch. That one I'm willing to. It's
gonna be interesting to see where Drew goes again. I think if he can get traded to a championship team, that will be interesting.
He's one of the more impactful trade pieces, I think.
That would be a big piece for a lot of players, a lot of teams.
New culture in Minnesota. I don't want to hear that.
There's not a new culture.
Anyway,
it's still Cat.
Minnesota trash.
Cat. I think a lot of people realize Cat was the issue, and he's still there.
Cat getting buckets off
and he
the
can
court.
still, but he can.
On the court.
he can still grow. Like he's still young. He's only probably like 23, 20, 24, 25.
Yeah. He
can still grow. He still got some aging to do, but we'll see. It's time for the.
Hey, Darius said, "Shut up."
It's time for the Petty Betty of the week. Rev, who's the Petty Betty this week?
Petty Betty. It's not as good as I'd like it to be this week, but Petty Betty is the Lake Show.
It's kind of us though. It's kind of Dario.
Low key,
in a way.
I feel like we started this. By we, I mean you.
Yes.
If you recall, a couple weeks ago, we talked about Duncan Robinson looked like somebody, bro. It's somebody. And then we decided it was
like
Sheen.
a lot of people.
Yeah, he looked like a lot of people, but Sheen is definitely one of them. We put up the graphic and everything. You know how many times we've texted to each other after that we saw other people saying that?
Yeah.
And then for Duncan Robinson the other day to be like, yo, people say that all the time. And the Lakers were out there on the floor calling me Jimmy Neutron. But it was kind of making me mad because you got to pick one. I can't be both. But you out there playing in the finals, you calling this man Jimmy Neutron.
And I think the only reason they were saying Jimmy Neutron because they didn't know who Sheen was.
Right.
They're older, even though some of the players probably older enough.
They were probably just that dude from Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
So they thought Jimmy Neutron.
They started calling him Jimmy.
But I just
Because
think that's
I
funny.
picture Rondo being the one. Rondo didn't watch no damn
Frank the
Jimmy.
Turtle.
Didn't watch.
Franklin the Turtle talking about Sheen. That's crazy.
Didn't watch no Jimmy
That's
Neutron.
crazy.
But yeah, so they petty better of the week.
Yeah.
Anytime you call somebody,
I'm just imagining.
Like,
I'm just imagining being Duncan Robinson's age, right? And this is a big stage for you. There's a lot of pressure. You playing the Lakers, who everybody's already expecting you to get washed by, and they out there calling you Jimmy Neutron.
Right. And I imagine the first time they said it, why you calling Jimmy Butler like that?
I mean, hey, he ran past the bench and he was like, "Hold on, what?
Jimmy is over there."
Did they just say, "Nah, you, Jimmy Neutron, you"? Like, it probably had him a little shook though, and it's probably funny. Like, you trying to drown that out, but they going at you.
Ain't no way you
that.
can drown that out.
But anyway,
yeah, so that's Petty Betty. We're gonna move on to the last topic. As always, Rev, are you speaking or shouting?
I want to speak. I want to shout.
Okay.
I want to shout. So we need the sound effects. We need it.
Shout.
Love it. Listen. All right. You know I follow the Houston Rockets closely because I got home ties with Russ and James, so I got to pay attention to what they got going on. Daryl Morey stepped down. They let go of D'Antoni. Now apparently they all in on getting Joel Embiid if they can.
Are they? I didn't see this.
Yes, they want to get Joel bad, and the only person that's untouchable is Harden. With your Harden and Embiid combo,
Harden. Okay.
dribble.
We got it.
Dribble.
Cause we
I
talked.
just don't know.
Go ahead.
First of all, I don't know that it would work. I really don't. But at least you would give Embiid a guard that's not going to be in his way. There's that. But also, a lot of the packages I've seen, like people have put Russ and Eric Gordon and PJ. Philly would be dumb. If it's not a 3-team trade, you'd be dumb to bring Russ to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because first, you have 2 point guards that are good at what they do, everything except for shooting the ball.
Right. That would.
So they would butt heads, and I think the same way that Ben apparently didn't really work with Jimmy, he's not gonna work with Russ because they built the same. Like they both, we here to win, and I'm on you as your teammate at practice, whatever. I'm on you. Like we've seen both of those guys yelling at people. So if Ben couldn't take it from Jimmy, he's probably not gonna be able to take it from Russ. And Philly, you'd be an idiot to go get
It's not gonna be. I don't even
another
think,
high.
I don't think Russ would be in the trade at all, unless it's a third team.
Right. If it's a third team in there, by all means, if you feel like you got to move on from him, do what you do. But if you send him to Philly, if you accept that deal, that's just dumb. Because what's your vision? You gonna bring in another high usage point guard who does all the same things Ben can do. He's just smaller. He's not as good of a defender as Ben, but part of that is he's smaller. Rebounds the ball, pushes the ball, dunks like an animal. I mean, but he can't shoot the three consistently, and neither can Ben. So what would be the plan, man?
That would make sense.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I think the way it would work, I don't think Russ would be in the trade. I think draft picks will probably be in the trade, even though they already traded their draft picks to OKC.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a tough. They might be able to pull them off in free agency. Or maybe that's what they were
But Joel ain't a free agent.
for a while. When is your free agent?
He got at least another year or two, I think.
Okay.
And they don't have that type of time they used to.
No.
James is getting older. Russ is getting older. If you do
James
want to
not
keep
that
that
old.
core, if you want to keep that core though,
They
you
might get
have
like
another 2 years to wait.
two. Yeah, I think they do.
I don't know.
Yeah, as far as, well, yeah, because 2 years, that's gonna be like they're gonna have to do
If
something.
Philly can
with
get
Russ.
LaMelo Ball, man, that's hooping.
LaMelo Ball
Yeah,
to Philly.
yeah. Love to see it.
They might fall to the Knicks. The recent mock draft that I saw, I don't really.
The Knicks are probably
I don't think
behind
he's gonna
closed
fall.
doors selling their soul. Like, please, we lost out on Steph. We lost out on Zion. Can you please?
Yeah,
We'll trade.
That's who the Knicks want.
We'll trade you all 7 of our power forwards, a Batman symbol, and a bag of Doritos.
A third Q.
Right, because the Knicks desperately just need a win. I'm sorry. Anyway, I was just shouting about, that's a dumb trade. It's the dumbest thing I think I've seen this week. It's a lot of trades that would make sense, but that one ain't it. Now, if he goes to the Knicks, he got to pack it up.
And our producer is shouting out in SARS. She's shouting today as well. And
I'm shouting.
Yeah.
No, for real though. That's actually a very serious topic.
It is.
You. Okay. Oh, so we weak. Huh? Okay, hey, you know what I'm saying? You got.
That's
me.
true though. Everybody
She
was
ain't
like
wrong.
put France in their profile pictures on Facebook. Everybody put their Nigerian flag on their Facebook.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's going on in Nigeria is wicked situation.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Definitely yikes situation. I don't know too much about it other than I know they was peacefully protesting. Our court apparently is peacefully protesting and they just started
A lot of
shooting
people getting killed. Yeah.
The military was. So just imagine if that was going on here.
Well, it is.
Kind
On the low end. Just not nearly as drastic. I don't want to make it.
true.
I don't want to make light of the SARS situation, but
That's true. That's true.
anyway, look, that's all I was talking about. And now, in retrospect, I really don't even care about it. I don't even know why I talked about it. So I want to hear what you got to say.
All right, I'm
Who's speaking
going to be speaking this time around. I'm going to be speaking about there is a famous rapper. Okay, famous rapper, and I think he said he gonna try his shot at the NBA. And I'm speaking to all the NBA teams. Go ahead and give my boy J. Cole a shot on your team. Except Detroit Pistons, who we already said he don't want to play for them. So I'm speaking today. Hey, J. Cole, I think he's good enough, even though he's 33 years old. I think he got the size. You know what I'm saying? He could have made the St. John's basketball team as a walk-on back in the day. Let the man give him some shine, man. I think he can do it. He can be the next Master P. At least let him get some. At least let him get a little 10-day contract.
I'd like to see it.
I want to see J. Cole in the NBA. That would be pretty dope. And that was just a random thought that I had this week, and I'm like, that's gonna be my speaking of shout.
Yeah, because I feel like we all forgot about it very quickly.
We did.
Like, we talked about it, and it was like, yeah.
It's because he ain't released no music. I'm sure he's gonna release an album the day he signed his contract. So
yeah, it would be interesting to see. I would definitely. I'm pulling for it. It'd just be cool.
It would be cool to see.
You know
what if he
I'm saying?
played on like the Lakers or something?
Everybody always talk about all the rappers want to be ball players, all the ball players want to be rappers. It would just be kind of cool to watch that.
To actually see it happen.
But then rumors talking about he want to be on the Contender. All right, slow your roll, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you
that was my thing. Like even though because the Pistons was like, we'll give you a tryout.
ain't nobody finna let your ass walk on to a championship
I don't think
team.
he actually said it, but there was reported that he was like, he don't want to play for them.
They only got 12 slots on the Pistons, though. You know that.
Facts. Okay,
If
bars.
you know, you know.
Bars.
If you know, you know.
But yeah, that's all I was speaking about today. Go ahead, get like you said, get J. Cole a 10-day contract. We just see him.
Might as
10
well.
days. Might as well. We go to the Hawks or something. Play in Atlanta. They got studios down there, so. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Appreciate you guys coming through.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
So peace. See y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. Holla.